After a global event caused millions of deaths, Yorick realizes that he might be the last man on Earth. 3 weeks after an event devastated the world, Yorick and his capuchin monkey Ampersand search for supplies. Suddenly, a helicopter falls from the top of a building directly above Ampersand. Yorick quickly pushes the monkey out of the way, narrowly avoiding the collision. After the near-death experience, Yorick dons his suit and mask and puts Ampersand in a pet carrier. The day before the event, Yorick demonstrates an escape trick to his student Fred. However, he struggles to perform the trick, causing him to fall. Suddenly, his landlord knocks on his door, demanding his payment. Fred then reveals that his father decided to stop his lessons since it wasn't worth the money. This disappoints Yorick, but he can't argue. At Washington, D.C., Congresswoman Jennifer Brown prepares her speech about how online hate is linked to violence, which the president seems to ignore. Her assistant, Christine, shares that Yorick's landlord called, pissing Jennifer off. Meanwhile, in Brooklyn, Yorick's sister Hero attends a support group when he calls her to meet outside. There, Yorick asks to borrow money so he can propose to his girlfriend tonight. He even bought a ring already, but Hero reminds him that he's broke and their parents still pay his rent, so he isn't ready for marriage. Offended, Yorick argues that she can't judge him since she just came from court-mandated group therapy after getting a DUI. Just then, Hero's friend Sam comes out, reminding her that the organization won't sign her paper unless she actually attends. With that, Hero gives Yorick money, but reminds him that she's against his plans. In Oklahoma, Sarah finishes building a device just as their clients arrive. Her boyfriend, Rafe, asks her to hide since their clients might dislike that a woman made their explosives. Instead of staying in their room, however, Sarah sneaks out from the window and jogs away. Once she's far enough, she triggers the bomb she built, killing Rafe and their clients. She continues jogging but stops upon seeing a dead deer. Then, a car picks her up, and her mentor commends her for her work. Immediately, he assigns her a new mission to watch the president, as there's a report of a credible threat. Meanwhile, press advisor Nora Brady approaches a gun range where President Ted Campbell is being filmed. She shares with his assistant, James, how Jennifer just called Ted a misogynist on TV. Because of this, James excuses the president from the press. However, Ted insists that Nora fires a gun, and despite her hesitation, she gets pressured into doing so. Elsewhere, Ted's daughter, Kimberly, is interviewed for her book, where she urges mothers to teach their sons to fear their impulses because one misunderstanding can change their lives. After the interview, she complains to her husband about Jennifer, insisting that her father is a champion for women's rights. During this, her sons notice a dead mouse on the floor. That evening, people gather for the birthday party of the First Lady, Marla Campbell. There, Jennifer sees her husband, Dean, arrive. Nora suddenly calls Jennifer to talk to the president, so she joins her in his office. With Nora reading Jennifer's televised accusation, Ted confronts the congresswoman about linking him to rebels and calling him outdated. Before Nora leaves, she reminds him that they still need to deal with Oklahoma. Curious, Jennifer asks what happened, so Ted shares that a bomb killed a rebel group connected to the American Freedom Coalition. After Nora leaves, Ted hints that if Jennifer didn't always use the lady card, they'd have gotten along. This offends Jennifer, yet he offers to work together. Jennifer reminds him that she offered to work with him, but he only pretended to consider it to gain publicity. Meanwhile, Hero is on her shift as an EMT with Mike, who reveals that he confessed the relationship to his wife. At the same time, Yorick prepares grilled cheese while his girlfriend Beth complains about her day. He then lights some candles and pours wine, setting up the mood. Suddenly, he mentions her move to Australia, offering to join her. Looking hesitant, Beth points out that he has his magic shows in the city, calling it his biggest opportunity yet. Sensing her lack of enthusiasm, Yorick proceeds with his proposal, hoping to convince her. He insists that even though everyone thinks he isn't sure what he wants, Yorick knows he wants to be with her. Surprised, Beth argues that he can't drop his life to join her in Australia, but Yorick claims he wants to. Still, she points out that he can't just wait on her while she attends school since he'll just get bored and hold her back. Realizing what she really thinks of him, Yorick yells that he didn't get to work on his show earlier because he'd been running errands for her. Beth argues that she didn't ask him to do that and starts collecting her things. Yorick panics and apologizes, but Beth still goes, leaving him in despair. In Oklahoma, Sarah goes home and reads the file for her next mission, where she'll go undercover as an agent for the Secret Service. With this, Sarah cleans up, removing any trace of her DNA and fingerprint. Meanwhile, Christine meets with her boyfriend when a horse suddenly gallops between them. A swarm of rats follows, forcing them on the hood of her car while people scream in terror. At the First Lady's party, Jennifer runs into Kimberly, who accuses her of not wanting to be around their family because they're women haters. Jennifer is shocked, but the younger woman claims she's kidding. Still, she asks about Hero, highlighting that she last saw her at the inauguration, where Hero had too much fun. After Kimberly leaves, Jennifer talks to her husband about Yorick. Dean already sent him money, but she thinks they should stop indulging their son. She then offers him a room in her house, but Dean declines. Thinking of their failed relationship, Jennifer promises to forgive him since it was her fault for always working. However, Dean reveals that he has already talked to a lawyer about their divorce. Soon, the guests offer a toast to Marla, where Ted compliments her for being a mother to their children and the country. Hearing this makes Jennifer wonder about another path she could have taken. Meanwhile, Nora returns to her messy home. Instead of cleaning, she starts planning for her son's birthday party. Seeing her stressed, her husband hugs her. Elsewhere, Hero and Mike embrace after an intimate time at the back of the ambulance. Mike notes that his wife was heartbroken over him cheating, but insists that their relationship wasn't working anymore. When Mike goes out, his phone suddenly buzzes, catching Hero's attention. Outside, Mike finds a dog vomiting blood. Horrified, he returns to the ambulance, only to find Hero already dressed up. She explains that his wife texted, wondering when he'll be home tonight as he needs to pick up diapers. Knowing he's caught, Mike defends that he can't just walk out on his wife since they have a child. Feeling betrayed, she starts throwing stuff at him, but Mike pins her against the shelves. Hero pushes him and instinctively grabs the oxygen tank to hit him. The valve accidentally punctures his neck, causing him to bleed out. The following day, Sarah arrives in DC, posing as a Secret Service agent at the briefing room just as Jennifer arrives. Meanwhile, Hero is still in the ambulance, horrified at what she'd done. Soon, an officer starts banging on the door as the ambulance was reported missing. Suddenly, he stops, so Hero checks and finds the officer dead. In the briefing room, Jennifer overhears a report of mass casualties in Israel. Ted tells her about a distress call from Israel, but they haven't contacted them again since no one was picking up. Suddenly, Ted spits up blood and collapses. More men start collapsing in the briefing room and the streets where Hero is. At the same time, Nora checks on her husband and son, but pauses when she pulls on the covers. Everywhere, chaos ensues as men and boys start bleeding out. Hero witnesses several accidents as drivers die at the wheel while a plane crashes nearby. Sarah attempts to resuscitate the president, to no avail. General Peggy Reed reports that Air Force 2 just crashed into the Atlantic Ocean, confirming that the event is happening everywhere. They direct the female officials, including Jennifer, to go underground in case it's an attack. During this, Yorick sleeps on his couch until Ampersand wakes him up. Immediately, he tries calling Beth but can't reach her phone. Instead, he hears the commotion outside and looks out the window. In DC, Sarah panics as Reed confirms the deaths of several politicians within the line of succession. She hurries to the bathroom to catch her breath, not having expected such an event. She then activates a small device from her suit and returns outside. 8 days later, Sarah heads into a post office, where she unlocks a secret room. Inside, she finds several men's dead bodies along with a device that was activated when she turned on her homing beacon. Once she clicks on hers, the lights on both devices turn green. She uses the radio to contact several headquarters and searches the computers and files to find anything that could direct her to what she needs to do. In the end, she finds nothing. In the storage area, she opens a box of personal items. Among them are a necklace and an envelope that's labeled "Not Yet." Still, she opens the note inside and finds an address. At DC, women riot in front of the White House while the remaining politicians watch the events from the Pentagon bunker. One notes that their coal surplus will run out in a week and a half, leaving them with no power and clean water. Sarah returns and asks to speak to Jennifer privately, addressing her as Madame President. Quietly, Sarah admits that she's part of a covert task force codenamed Culper Ring, which only answers to the president. Since Jennifer became the president, Sarah's superior should have alerted her of their presence. Because they haven't, Sarah thinks she's the only one left to do it. When Jennifer isn't convinced, Sarah recounts how she was assigned to DC on the day of the event. Before that, she was on another assignment in Oklahoma. Her superior said there was a credible threat against the president, but they didn't give her further information. Now, she answers to Jennifer, admitting that Sarah isn't her real name. Instead, she's called Agent 355 in her department. Suddenly, the protesters breach the gate to the White House, but Jennifer demands pulling their team back, noting that the White House is just a structure they can rebuild. As everyone panics, Jennifer calls their attention. She admits that things might worsen as their people are hungry, angry, terrified, and grieving. Still, since they're the ones in power, they must make hard choices to help. On day 63, Yorick tends to his wound while he listens to an old video of him and Beth. Ampersand asks for the last chocolate they found, so he promises that they'll eat it tonight. He then leaves a new note in his apartment, hoping that Beth will find him. In the Pentagon, Jennifer learns of waterborne illnesses spreading in New York. Since water pumps have stopped running, they can't deliver clean water to the citizens. Believing that her son is dead, Jennifer hopes to still rescue Hero, so she orders her team to focus on evacuations. Later, Jennifer hands Sarah a list of places where Hero could be hiding. Sarah reminds her that people have looked for Hero, so she probably left the city if she's still alive. Despite this, Jennifer stresses that she answers to her, so she orders Sarah to find her daughter. In a school, Hero looks at a wall of IDs of the people who've died during the event. She then overhears a woman with a crying baby demanding an official to help her find her husband. Hero approaches the woman, sympathizing with her as she's trying to find her brother. Elsewhere, Sam and his group return to their base as they struggle to gather supplies, including testosterone shots. Having been born female, Sam and his friends survived whatever killed the men. To their surprise, Hero is there, though she couldn't get the supplies she was supposed to. As Sam approaches her, Hero complains about their plan to bike to Vermont and live with their friend's grandma. Sam agrees it's not good, so he urges Hero to tell people who she is, so they'll evacuate them. However, Hero refuses to see her mother. Unbeknownst to her, Sarah is hitching a ride on a military helicopter to find her. Meanwhile, in their room, Kimberly struggles to get dressed while Marla wanders, seemingly lost in her trauma. Kimberly heads out when a group of girls runs past her. Seeing them reminds her of her sons, making her frozen in grief. At the office, Jennifer learns about a militia group in Arizona who believe that the government unleashed a biological weapon that caused the catastrophe. After she orders the Air Force to handle it, Christine tells Jennifer that Kimberly is there. Kimberly questions Jennifer's decision to focus on the evacuation as there's a fertility bank that contains valuable resources. Jennifer doubts those are still viable, but the woman stresses that they won't know if they let the generators that keep them frozen die. Kimberly believes that without men, there won't be a future, but Jennifer insists that they're still struggling to survive the present. Meanwhile, Yorick heads to a bar to paint a message for Beth. There, he finds a photo of them together, making him reminisce about her. Suddenly, a military truck passes by, so Yorick hides. However, Ampersand runs away, so he chases him down the flooded subway. Thinking the monkey went into the water, Yorick searches through the flood, despite knowing that it's contaminated by dead bodies. While searching, he sees a man, making him hide under the water. When he checks again, he realizes that it's just a poster. Elsewhere, Hero returns to the ambulance, where she left Mike's body. She checks his jacket but only finds a pacifier. This leads her to remember her time with him, filling her with guilt. She places the pacifier on his body before checking his pockets for his wallet. At a laundromat, Yorick removes his clothes when three women find him, surprised as he's the first living man they'd seen in weeks. They ask why he's not dead, but Yorick doesn't know. Desperate, he shares that he just swam through contaminated water, so he begs to get himself cleaned and change clothes. Suddenly, one woman aims a gun at him, hoping to trade him. However, when he begs to go home, another woman takes pity on him, so she hands him a pair of pants. After wearing them, he slowly leaves but advises the women to leave the city. He then gives them the chocolate bar he promised to Ampersand to thank them. That night, Hero returns to the school and hands Mike's ID to the woman with a baby, revealing that she knew that she was Mike's wife all along. The woman is horrified, realizing that Hero was the woman Mike was cheating on her with. Still, she thanks her for giving her closure. At the subway, Yorick watches the video of when he first brought Ampersand home. Suddenly, Ampersand returns, and the two reunite. Yorick then breaks into Hero's apartment but finds it empty. After weeks of not finding his loved ones, Yorick starts to give up. Meanwhile, Hero returns to her friend's hideout but only finds Sam. Tired, he shares how it's been difficult for him to explain himself repeatedly since the catastrophe happened. Going with their friends was his chance to get out, but Hero reminds him that she didn't ask him to wait for her. Seeing him angry, Hero hugs him and assures him that he still has her. However, he insists on calling her mother for help, so Hero finally agrees. Outside the Pentagon base, Nora demands to be let in with her daughter, but the guards claim she's not on the list of essential personnel. Defeated, they join the hundreds of women camped outside. Meanwhile, Marla visits Jennifer while she's working. The former First Lady demands to return home so she can bury her son, but Jennifer notes that they can't spare the people to escort her. Marla thinks this means she's a prisoner, but Jennifer assures her that it's not. She then questions why she moved the evacuation to New York, wondering if it's about Hiro. Marla agrees that Hiro probably survived, yet Jennifer laments that her daughter refuses to see her despite everything. Marla then recounts that when she knew she was pregnant with Kimberly, she worried about how the world would treat her daughter. Hearing this, Jennifer admits that she sent someone to find Hiro, but Marla claims that she would have sent an army for her daughter. She again insists on going home, even if she doesn't have security to escort her. At Hiro's house, Yorick hears movement, so he swings a guitar at the intruder but easily gets pinned down by Sarah. Soon, a helicopter arrives at the Pentagon base, and Jennifer reunites with her son. As they've found the only known man alive in the world, Sarah tells the pilots who brought them there to follow her.
Subscribe to watch more videos like this. Turn on notifications. And leave a like, it really helps the channel out. Thank you for watching.